had before. And so I felt like, you know, I knew something big was going to happen. I just had that feeling. So I ran, I pulled up, and now as I'm pulling up to that bridge, one side, I mean, the little, as I call it, you know, like in the cartoons, you got the little angel on this side and the devil on this side in both ears, you know. And I hear this side saying, man, what are you doing going to this bridge? You ain't going to be people fishing on the bank. You're not going to be able to, you better hurry up and go back to that other bridge, you know, because somebody's going to be there if you don't hurry up and get there, you know. And this side and then this side saying, just go, just go, just go. So I pull up, and the crazy thing is, Aaron Martins, y'all know Aaron Martins, right? Who doesn't know Aaron Martins, you know? And Aaron is in front of me now, and he shuts down at the bridge about a quarter mile before me. I see a boat. And now as I'm closing down, I'm shutting down, and I'm sitting in the no-wake zone in the air, and I said, oh man. And I see him jump up real quick, and he stands up on his deck, and I see he's like, looks back and forth, he's looking at the water, and apparently it didn't look good to him. So he jumps back down, puts his life jacket on, and I see him crank up and take off, and now my heart's like in my throat. And as soon as he takes off, I mean, I pull right under the bridge, and his backwash from his Mercury is still spinning around on the bridge where he takes off. And I stand up, and I pick up, and I throw right across that first corner, and I literally could feel the fish bumping into my bait. It was so many of them. You'd run that, and you feel it just going, and all of a sudden it loads up. I got one, I swing him in, throw him in the live well, throw back, get another one. It's like 2.5, 3 pounders, and they're little ones for Guntersville, so I wasn't that excited yet, you know. And I threw back the third cast, and it loads up, and it's a 7-pounder. 7.3 was the biggest one I had that day. So when it come up out there, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I was excited. I pulled him around, I grabbed him, and that's when I looked in the GoPro. I said, that's what it takes to come back into Bassmaster Classic. You remember when I said that? It looked like a carp, didn't it? It was kind of a carpy looking bass, but it was a 7-pounder. It didn't look that big on camera, but that's how big it was. So I put him in the live well. Now when I caught that 7-pounder, I had that peace inside that I knew I had done the right thing, and I knew then that the big fish were moving up. So all my memories of being at that bridge, many times in the winter I fished there and put my boat in and fished around that bridge with Alabama rigs when they first came out a few years ago, and just caught a lot of big bass. So I knew big bass lived around that bridge in that deep hole. So it was just one after the other after that. And I caught them and back and forth, and my marshal couldn't even punch them in fast enough on the bass track. It was just ridiculous. In like an hour, he was already up to like 83 pounds, where he was just putting them in 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, just, and it culls it out for you, you know. And so for an hour and 10 minutes or so. And the neat thing about how the whole story worked, this friend of mine crossed the bridge right as I stopped and caught a fish. And he was an evangelist buddy of mine that was there in town that week, and he was coming to the Classic. He just happened to ride by and saw me there. He pulled over and saw me catching that fish, and I said, hey, you got my wife Robin's number? You know, can you call her and tell her to come to this bridge? So I told him the number. He called her and told her. So here they come too, so they could be there. So they got there. Now people are starting to stop on the side of the road, seeing all the cars. And now I had a long gallery of like a golf tournament. You know, but a lot more exciting, you know, right, than golf. And they were all lined up watching me catch these fish, and it was just like a magic. I mean, over and over. Now the sun finally gets straight up, and the current was coming out of the back of that creek, and that mud had hit from the back. That warm mud had finally mixed with this cold, clear water, and the water was 58 degrees. I mean, almost spawning temperature. So all those fish were just freaking out. My Lowrance side scan on the front, you could see off to the side of that riprap, and you can just see the noodles, as I call them. It looks like noodles, spaghetti noodles, just everywhere out there on the side, just chomping on bait. And so now the current stopped, and when the current stops, usually the fish stop. You know, and it wasn't no secret. I was throwing a DT6 Rapala, and it was the only bait that I had that was bright, really bright, burnt orange. It was that Iconelli's Demon color. He named it himself, and good name for Ike, you know, Demon color. And that's what he's got in his head a little bit sometimes, you know what I mean? But he admits to that, so I'm not saying anything bad about it. So anyway, I had that bait, and that was the only bait in that muddy water that I thought would show up good, and I threw it, and I was catching them on it. And at the time, they probably would have bit about anything right off the bat that morning, because they were just feeding. They were boiling shad on the ripraps. You could see the boils coming up. But when the current stopped, they stopped. There wasn't nothing else there. And I threw. Well, I got down there and I had a bigger bait on, deeper baits. I threw 3 or 4 different baits. I threw a jig, threw a swim bait, couldn't get a bite on a spinner bait, all that. I went for like 20 minutes and didn't catch one. And now I got worried because I got like 21 pounds, and that's great, but I didn't really think I had any chance of winning. So that's when I got down and I thought, you know, I really would like to catch them on one of my new Livingston crankbaits that we've been working for so long on. We had worked so hard to get these baits out, and they gave me some prototypes at media day, and I hadn't even thrown them yet. And I get this bait out, and this is the bait right here. We ended up naming it Gunnersville Crawl because of the color. But this is a color bait I've gotten them to make, and it's the Delta Crawl. Lucky Craft makes a color called Delta Crawl. Y'all know that out here. Well, I took the Delta Crawl color before they ever got here, and I said, I want you to paint this color, but I want more orange on the belly, and just change it up just a little bit. So they made that. So when I'm looking down, I'm looking for something orange and red, and I start dumping these baits out, and there's that bait. You know, all these baits have not been tested at all. So I tie that one on, and I said, well, I'm going to try it. So I tie it on, I throw it beside the boat, and it wobbles big, vibrates. It's got the electronic bait fish sound, so it's croaking, making sound in the water. And so everything from muddy water was right. So I threw it, first cast out, second cast out. I said, this bait's got to work. Sure enough, boom, I catch a 3-pounder. So now I throw a few more times, and now I'm excited because I'm finally getting them to bite again. Plus, I'm getting to use the sponsor bait because I need to be using my sponsor bait. I don't need to do good on somebody else's bait. So we try to get baits that are sponsored by to fish with if we can. That's always good. So I'm throwing, so now I'm excited. So my 5th cast, I catch a 5-pounder. And y'all know on the Livingston commercial, the fish that jumps, and I grab him and I say, oh, he choked the Livingston, baby. And I hold it and I put it down there in the GoPro. You can see the bait down its throat. And that's a sign they like the color and the bait when it's down their throat, as you know. So that started them back feeding again, and from then on I caught 60-some bass in the next probably 4 hours on that one bait. And it was a miracle because that whole bridge, if you fish around bridges and ripraps much, what do you do there a lot? Get hung up, right? Especially on fishing line, because people who fish off the bridges use 200-pound test Walmart, you know, blue rope basically on those surf rods, and usually you hook that thing and you can't get it loose for nothing. Well, I never hung that bait up. I had 2 or 3 times that I got it stuck and I'd pop the line, it'd pop off, and every time I catch one, you know, it was like one of them days, everything was just right. And I caught them and caught them and caught them, and finally I've done culled up now probably about 27 pounds or so, 27 and a half. And now I've had the camera guy in the boat now since 9:30. They sent a camera out, and I know I'm making a run at it, but I don't know anything more than that. So I get at 12:15, I'm going down this slick, flat, calm, you know, water, no current, sun bright, high pressure, just a total, you know, recipe for non-success fishing that time of the year. And I'm still catching them, and I catch a 4.5-pounder, and I get him on the ballast beam, and one's just a little bit bigger than I throw one, so I'm throwing back 4.5-pounders. And by that time at 12:15, this happened again, just like the morning. So instantly, I saw myself, it flashed in my mind, I'm in the back of this creek, and I'm seeing myself catching a big one in the back of this creek. And it's a crazy thing. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but that's what happened. And I said, and I thought, and it said, go to the back of the creek right now. Go to the back of the creek right now. You want to be good or you want to be great? This is your chance. And I'm just like, all this talk is going on in my head. And I look at my camera guy and I said, you know, I got 40 or 50 spectator boats sitting out here that have been watching me the whole time because they're watching Bass Track. They know I'm leading. They don't tell me that, so I don't know I'm leading. I wish somebody just hollered and said, hey, Randy, you're leading the Classic. That would have been nice, but I didn't know. So I'm sitting here, you know, and I'm about to throw back again, and it's just like overwhelming. Go there now. So I tell my camera guy, I said, hey, jump down real quick, get your life jacket. Let's run to another spot. And he said, he takes the camera out. He said, dude, I'm not a fisherman, but you just caught a pretty big one here on your last cast. You're not going to fish some more here? I said, no, we're going to go. He said, well, like everybody else I ever filmed usually stays somewhere when they catch a big bass, you know. And I said, hey, I don't know, man, let's go. Just sit down, hush, let's go. So he almost talked me out of leaving. So I get down there and I take off and I run to the back of the creek. All these boats are spinning around coming behind me because they didn't know what I'm doing. And they're probably wondering, what's this idiot doing? He's caught 100 bass here and he's leaving. So I run to the back of the creek and I pull up in the back there, and it was muddy enough that you could literally step out and walk across it. It looked like, I mean, it was like deer tracks on it. It was so dirty, it was so muddy. As soon as I pull up, my confidence is like my reasoning is saying, no way, you know, go back to the bridge. Well, I stand up anyway, pick up my chatterbait blade deal, and it's actually a bait that he's got back here in the back here now. Yamamoto sells them on their website. He had them then, and it looks like a chatterbait, and I can't remember what it's called now, but anyway, y'all might know what I'm talking about. It looks like a chatterbait, but it was a crawfish colored chatterbait. Barely could see it in the water, it's so dirty. And I throw it a few times, and I'm reeling like that, and I'm reeling, all of a sudden, and I feel it just, and I said, oh, and there he is, and he comes up and splashes, and I run right here, and I grab him, and I pull him out, and I said, that's what we come back here for, you know, y'all remember that? And this fish was it was a 6 pounder, and it had leeches hanging all off of him, like crazy looking creatures of some kind. I called them demons, that's what they look like, and they were trying to mess my day up, but they weren't going to do it.